Welcome back to the Dinar Chronicle, your trusted source for urgent and developing updates on the Iraqi dinar, currency revaluations, and global financial realignments. Today is Monday, July 14th, 2025, and what we're seeing unfold now may be the beginning of the final countdown. With unprecedented signals emerging from within Iraq's financial system, mounting international pressure, and visible policy shifts from the Central Bank of Iraq, this could very well be the pivotal moment that investors, analysts, and global banking institutions have anticipated for more than a decade. In the last 48 hours, multiple credible sources, some embedded within Iraq's fiscal infrastructure, have confirmed that high-level meetings were held over the weekend in Baghdad involving CBI officials, select members of parliament, and international monetary observers. These meetings reportedly revolved around finalizing the implementation protocols for a new exchange rate mechanism that aligns with the nation's evolving fiscal strategy and its formal entry into Article 8 compliance under IMF standards. This compliance not only affirms the dinar's convertibility but also sets the stage for a rate adjustment that could fundamentally alter the value structure of Iraq's economy in relation to global currencies, especially the US dollar. Markets began responding as early as Sunday evening local time. Reports indicate that multiple Tier 1 banks in the Gulf region adjusted their internal rate sheets, listing placeholder figures for the IQD ranging from 3.45 to as high as $4.27. These figures have not yet appeared on public forex platforms, but they are circulating within institutional trading environments and have already triggered restricted transactions between private banking desks. Additionally, SWIFT integration testing with the Central Bank of Iraq has reportedly accelerated, suggesting that financial messaging systems across the GCC, Europe, and parts of Southeast Asia are actively preparing for a valuation shift. The Central Bank of Iraq has remained publicly silent, but analysts point to the institution's recent moves as highly instructive. Over the last 2 weeks, the CBI has increased its gold reserves by nearly 8%, added foreign currency liquidity to its stabilization fund, and issued new banking directives requiring all domestic banks to update AML compliance and Know Your Customer protocols by no later than July 17th. Experts believe this is part of a larger de-dollarization plan designed to insulate the Iraqi economy and rapidly transition into a dinar-centric trade framework. Simultaneously, the U.S. Treasury Department has reportedly been in closed-door discussions with both the Federal Reserve and IMF task forces. Sources close to these briefings suggest that the United States is supportive of Iraq's sovereign monetary decisions so long as transparency and international compliance standards are maintained. This appears to be a major shift in tone from previous years when revaluation talks often encountered resistance from global powers reluctant to disturb the existing economic equilibrium. Further complicating the picture is the geopolitical climate surrounding Iraq. With increased regional investment from China under its Belt and Road Initiative, and the UAE intensifying its oil cooperation with Baghdad, Iraq is slowly emerging as a critical bridge in Eurasian economic corridors. That makes the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar not just a domestic matter, but a development with potential ripple effects across commodities markets, trade finance, and even petrodollar liquidity cycles. While the actual rate change has not yet been made public, several high-level financial institutions have updated their predictive models. JP Morgan Chase, HSBC, and Standard Chartered have all issued internal briefings forecasting an official adjustment in the IQD rate before the end of Q3. These internal documents cite structured stabilization efforts, macroeconomic alignment, and regional trade settlement restructuring as core drivers supporting the expected change. Notably, none of these institutions are directly confirming a $3.00 plus rate, but language in the briefings implies a significant appreciation from the current program rate of approximately 1,300 IQD per USD. Adding weight to the speculation is a recent statement from Dr. Ali Al-Alak, the sitting governor of the Central Bank of Iraq. Though carefully worded, his comments suggested that Iraq's monetary policy is entering a transitional phase designed to reestablish the natural value of the national currency based on underlying economic indicators. That statement, though vague on timing, is being interpreted as a direct acknowledgement of the revaluation roadmap. On the ground in Iraq, banking infrastructure is quietly being modernized. ATM networks are undergoing firmware updates. Digital banking platforms have rolled out new verification features, and citizens in multiple provinces have reported that banking centers are issuing new account documentation with updated formatting and fields that mirror international standards. These technical adjustments may seem minor, but to those familiar with large-scale financial transitions, they are significant markers of impending operational change. Moreover, Iraq's oil sector continues to outperform expectations, providing critical revenue streams that could support the new valuation. The Ministry of Oil confirmed last week that Iraq's crude production hit 4.6 million barrels per day in June, with 85% of output tied to contracts now denominated in dinars instead of US dollars. This is part of a strategic plan to repatriate value into the domestic economy and reduce external dependencies. The shift to local currency settlements is a key indicator often seen in nations preparing to float or revalue their currency. Investor sentiment is also rapidly shifting. On online platforms, private forums, and financial analyst calls, conversations are intensifying around exit strategies, tax implications, and banking appointments. Several international law firms have reportedly begun issuing advisories to clients holding physical IQD, recommending that all documentation, serial number tracking, and proof of purchase receipts be organized ahead of what could be a tightly regulated exchange window. Though no official date has been announced, many believe that redemption centers could begin limited operations within the next 10 to 14 days. From a macroeconomic perspective, Iraq is in a unique position. Its foreign reserves now exceed $110 billion. It has achieved budget surpluses for 3 consecutive quarters, and it maintains an underleveraged debt-to-GDP ratio compared to regional peers. These fundamentals strongly support a currency realignment, particularly when aligned with the broader economic reform initiatives that Prime Minister al-Sudani's administration has been quietly enacting in coordination with regional allies and international monitors. Critically, the World Bank and IMF have both released recent assessments praising Iraq's monetary progress and fiscal discipline. In their most recent technical review, the IMF specifically noted that Iraq has fulfilled the structural prerequisites for open market currency valuation and cross-border capital mobility. This language represents the clearest institutional green light for revaluation that we've seen to date and is widely viewed as a nod of approval from the global financial establishment. As always, we advise caution. While the evidence and movements are aligning with what many believe is the final stretch of Iraq's currency revaluation journey, the process remains fluid and subject to political and economic influences that may not be visible to the public. Markets may move ahead of official announcements, and that volatility carries risk for unprepared investors. Additionally, not all IQD holders may have access to the same rate structures or timing windows, depending on where and how the currency was acquired. Nonetheless, this moment feels markedly different. From Baghdad to London, Dubai to New York, there is a shared sense among professionals in the banking world that the long-anticipated shift in Iraq's monetary framework is no longer theoretical, it's operational. Every sign, every institutional signal, and every policy shift points toward a nation on the edge of monetary transformation. The countdown, as of July 14, 2025, has officially begun.